and welcome to another episode of Baggers Chat. My name is Mitch Patson, and as always, we're joined by Ethan Daffy. And today we are reviewing the draft. Well, we are recapping. It's a bit of a
Yep.
different title, but we are doing a recap of the draft that just happened. And we're only going to focus on, obviously, the Carlton players. I'll get it off straight away. Very sorry about the mess in the back. We're moving out and we're getting the keys on Friday, and as I was just speaking to Daff about it, it is very chock a block at the moment. So we're trying to clear out everything. So I just thought I'd get that off the bat before. I mean, it doesn't really look too clean most of the episodes anyway, Daff boy. So I don't even know why I'm saying it, but I just thought I would say that right now. But Daff, how are you, mate? And there's been a few players that look very, very impressive from the draft. How do you kind of reflect the draft?
No, I'm very happy. I think obviously we had the pick three, which is handy, and we'll go through each pick in this video. But as a whole, I think it's a pretty job well done, and I think the last tick for me was when there wasn't a bid for Ben Camporeale before pick 40, because I think if it was pick 40, we wouldn't be able to draft Harry O'Farrell. So, which is clearly a positional need in terms of key defence, which we kind of lacked. So, yeah, I think doing that was the tick off, and obviously the twins were always going to happen. I think Lucas got bidded on earlier than they thought he was going to,
Mm.
but yeah, all in all, pretty good, Patto.
Yeah, no, spot on. Hit the nail on the head there, Daff. But we're going to get straight into it, and I guess the first thing that we'll touch on is obviously the pick three, and it's Jagger Smith. Now, it was quite interesting because after our episode we were very optimistic that we were going to either look at Sid Draper or Finn O'Sullivan. They were the two that we were really keen on. If we were to be a part of the Carlton Football Club to pick the pick three, and we were speaking about Jagger Smith. One of the guys that we actually spoke about was Jagger Smith, and
Yep.
we were we were somewhat keen, but
Yeah.
we were like we wanted other options. But it was quite funny because as soon as that episode ended and it was uploaded, we were both kind of had the same mindset. There was a certain highlight reel that was released
Mm.
on YouTube that I think you said to me first, and we're both like, "Oh, actually, you know what? If all three are available, we would almost pick Jagger Smith." And
Mm.
on Fox Footy, they usually do like whatever the player or whoever gets drafted, they usually do a comparison of a player who's
Yeah.
playing AFL right now, and they compared him to Caleb Sarong.
Yeah.
We were both speaking about a certain player that he plays a lot like, and I think that's
Mm.
very exciting because it's something that we don't really have within the club right now, and it's Zach Butters.
Yep.
The way that he plays, and there's a certain highlight reel. I think it was when he was playing as Vic Metro up against Country, and he was dominant,
Yeah.
and just his agility, but it's also I mean I wouldn't say agility. It's more like his
Mm.
I guess what's the word when it's like the split step. Is that agility? That's not even agility.
Yeah, well, he's definitely agile, I must say.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's just got that kind of quick, that first 10, 15 meters of pace. But he's just no, oh, he's just quick. He's incredibly quick. And I was reading the holes before we did the pick, or when we did the pick. I've been hearing people going, "Oh, it's not really what we need." And I was thinking I was going to go to every comment and go, "I'm going to send you this link via DM and watch this video." Because if you do not think this guy is quick, I'm not sure what video or what Jagger Smith video you're watching. So, yeah, he's very impressive.
Mm. Well, a mutual friend of ours, Daf, is Barney, and he sent me a message before the draft, and he actually mentioned I'm probably putting him on the spot a little bit here, but he wasn't too keen on drafting Jagger Smith. This was like probably 2 hours before the draft,
Yeah.
so this is when we were both keen that we really want Jagger,
Hmm.
but he was still on the fence of like, no, I don't want Jagger Smith because of what Sid Draper could do. And I know that like another mate of mine, Jacob, he sent me a message after the draft and just said, let's hope Sid Joba doesn't turn into Gary Ablett Jr. Because you just never know. You never know when it comes to the modern day. But also, like, if Sid Draper is dominating for Adelaide, that's great. But if Jagger Smith is doing his thing at Carlton, I don't think we can complain. But Duff, I guess we'll just move straight into Jagger and kind of just explain his sort of his details before we touch on a little bit more. And he's obviously from Oakley Chargers. He's a hybrid midfielder. He's 182 centimeters, which I think is a really good height for a mid. We don't really have a midfielder like that. Probably, I think Walshy's around that height, but Chera as well. But obviously Cripps and Hewitt are the two other midfielders, and they're obviously a little bit taller. And his best mates with Cooper Lord as well. So that's
Mm.
another midfielder in there. But your thoughts, if you want to add on a little bit more, Duff, about Jagger from an external point of view, because we weren't too we like he wasn't really talked about much last episode because we were more focused on Sid Draper and
Yeah.
Fino Sutherland. But now that we have drafted him, what's your opinion heading into next year? How much of an impact is he going to have heading into season 2025?
I'm very excited. Um, I didn't hear too much of him pre-draft. Like I saw a few interviews here and there, but the content and shout out to the club because the content throughout the draft has been really good. The inner sanctum with Nick Austin and Mick Agresta, the banter around those two during those videos is hilarious stuff. But you clearly can see they've had a plan. They look at these players for 3 years, I think. So probably from under 15s to now. So they're looking at those types of talents and they're not really sure where they have the pick, and we ended up with the pick with three, and obviously they back in this guy and they rated him at one. Of course, I'm going to say that, but I think you look at it now, and I think he was probably the number one pick for a while there this year, and that was just from a kind of external point of view, looking into it. But yeah, I'm incredibly excited, and I think. You look at next year and you look at the future. I think he plays round one next year. He fits in. Oh, I think he fits his team like a glove. I seriously do. People go, oh, he's got that lighter frame, but it's kind of okay. He's that guy. The way he plays is obviously you put on size as the years go on, and like a Walshy in that. But no, I think he's, touch wood, no injuries or any sort of other reasons. I think he'll be pushing for round one, and I've already seen a best 22 put out put out on Twitter. You know how much I dislike a best 22 at this time of the year, but yeah, I think he'll be pushing for round one and impacting next year, Pato.
Well, it's a good point with what you said about, I guess, the lighter frame, and that's saying it's from a midfield point of view, from a broad, like the competition as a sense, like you can say, like name the best midfielders in the comp. You've got Cripps, Bontempelli,
Yep.
Nick Dacos, even if you can really classify that as that midfielder. I mean, I know that he's still playing a bit off halfback, but I think heading into next year, he'll be
Yep.
well and truly a 100% full-time midfielder. But those are the three, Lockie Neal as well. But when you actually look at it, the best midfielders in the comp are kind of that lighter frame with the Caleb Sarongs, Zach Butters,
Yep.
Connor Rosie.
Yes.
Those like three, and then I mean, obviously, I mean Nick Dacos as well is quite light.
Yeah.
So you kind of look at that. I mean Noah Anderson as well. I know that he's a little bit taller, but he's not buff like a Cripps
No.
and Pelly.
No.
When I look at it, and I'm like, I think he is the exact player we need in that midfield because you've got George and Cripps
Yeah.
in there, but you've got Walshy and Chera as that more agile. They kind of mix between
Yep.
the two. But then you've got Jagger, who is that well and truly like he is quite light. But heading
Yep.
into his career, we don't know if he will put on some size or if his best attributes to the side is being that lighter frame,
Mm.
so he can be like have that agility to get away from the players and
Yep.
whatever, like the side steps, all of that. I just think that is the one thing with Jagger Smith that I'm really excited about heading into next year because we were quite one dimensional towards the end of last year and we kind of got
Mm.
found out in that midfield. So now that we have that player pick three and we say it year after year after year, probably since about 2018 draft, these kids are ready to play now.
Yes.
Like they've just matured a lot more. Over the past probably 10 years, they've matured a hell of a lot more than what they used to. So
Mm.
heading into round one next year with a full preseason, Jagger will be well and truly up to playing round one, and he might even come up against a Josh Smiley as well. I think he's also really good mates with him. Round one against Richmond, so also Sam Lawler as well as another
Yeah.
player. Um, but yeah, I'm really excited overall about Jagger and what he can produce. But I think it's more from a sense of what Carlton need in that midfield, and I think Jagger is that type of player. So
Yeah.
really excited. But yeah, that's probably all we'll touch on for Jake Smith. Unless you want to touch on quickly about the Nick Austin and what he said.
Yeah, I think when I look at recruiting, whether it's through the draft or through the trade period, I like to know what they're saying on the inner kind of sanctum. And, as supporters, I'm all for having views on guys and whatever. I feel like there's a lot of negativity when it comes to picks. And I know there's a lot of pressure and with 30-year premiership drought and you're getting desperate. And sometimes you got to step back and listen to what they're saying. And whether it's Nick Austin or Mickey Grest or any other guys throughout the coaching group or the recruiting team and why they picked a guy like him. And this actually stood out to me in Nick Austin's comments. He said, you'd struggle to find a more impressive young person and player than Jagger. So that just there's light bulb in my head going, they're looking at him as a player, of course. That's the priority, but also the person. And he has been captain for every team he's represented since he was 12. And the way he speaks, I know a lot of guys are really good these days, but there's something different. And I might be looking at it in a biased lens, but he just looks like that Walsh type. He's ready to go. He's ready to go, and he speaks well. He presents himself really well, and that's what I like. And obviously the second point here is he's the number one ball winner in the his age group, and the second bit of this, it's not just the ball getting. The second half of the year, apparently his ball use improved and he's getting a lot of bang for buck, as it says here, with his ball use, which is just perfect. When you think about it, you go, look at our forward line. You got, you got Harry and Charlie. He's hitting up those guys rather than 18-year-olds. So that it makes it almost easier in a sense. You got better targets up there. Obviously, the AFL level is not easier, but in a sense, you've got guys of higher quality in that forward line, and obviously he's good inside but outside. I like his traffic and he's doing those spins around blokes and he's stepping guys. I just love it. He has that confidence. And like you said, that kind of first step or that first instinct, he's there first. He is there every single time of the drop of the ball, which I like to see. And I think it actually will take, over the next few years, will take a bit of load off guys like Cripps to really have those 35 disposal games or 30 disposal games because he can go in there as well and find his ball. He likes the footy. He loves the footy. So it's going to be fantastic, Patto.
Yeah, well, at the end of the draft, he was known to be that ball magnet.
Yep.
I think the company Ball Magnets actually posted about who, like, I think they asked the draftees about who they think will be,
Mm.
like, who is classified as that ball magnet, and most of them said Jagger. So that's the thing heading into next year. How do you think that will impact? Because I know that we've both had a bit of opinions about the impact of Jagger Smith, and I personally think George Hood and Adam Chera need to step up their game because Jagger Smith is right now in that conversation straight away. He's pick three, and he can be that player, the point of difference in our midfield that can catapult us up towards a premiership. I'm not saying he is the difference of us winning the premiership, but the way that our midfield goes, like if Sam Walsh has a full preseason and he's back to that 2021 form,
Yep.
and Cripps keeps doing his thing, and then we have Jagger in there who will obviously play with confidence and excitement
Yep.
because he's a first year player.
Yep.
George Hewitt, I think he's well and truly
Yeah.
in our best 22. Adam Shearer as well.
Yeah.
But then what does that mean for guys like Cooper Lord who impressed towards the
Yes.
end of last year? What does that mean for Ollie Hollins who has been playing on the wing but has been publicly said that he wants to play in the middle, and he probably is that Jagger Smith type, that lighter frame, and he could be that point of difference in there. But now that we have Jagger Smith there,
Mm.
but also Elijah Hollins as well, because
Yep.
he's now playing more as that 50-50 role, but now it might have to go 75% forward, 25% mid because of Jagger Smith entering the club. So one more thing about Jagger, and the last question for you is, how do you think his impact heading into next year? Obviously, it's healthy competition, which is exactly what you want. But now it's up to Adam Chera and George Hoy, and they might even improve themselves as well, which is exactly what you want. And that's why I'm saying healthy competition. But I guess the question is, how do you think Jagger Smith can impact the Carlton Football Club heading into season 2025? And and do you think there's any chance that he could push out a Hewitt or a Chera or a Lord or whoever?
Yeah, I think it's not even a matter of pushing out. I think he just adds to the mix. I think we need more guys rolling through there. I think, like you said, we at some stages every season. I feel like when we're in a bit of a slump, we feel like we just keep rolling the same guys through there. It's just like, oh, come on, like, can we need someone in there, a bit of energy, something different. And obviously, we're bringing in a guy of very high talent. He's not just high energy. He's a gun footballer. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think you can somehow get him, Hewitt, Chera, Walsh, Cripps to somehow roll through a team, a best 22. Because you tend to see with those young fellas, they can kind of have short stints in other spots. Whether he's just like for a 5 minute period where he's on a wing or a half forward, you know what I mean? So obviously you want him in the guts. But you got some pretty fucking good players in there. So he's not going to be getting 100% time in there, which who knows in a sense next year. But for me, I look at the three guys you mentioned. Obviously, Ollie, I think he'll probably stick outside next year. I think he's more of that outside player. And the second half of the season, he was really good. I thought he struggled at the start of the season, then he started to find his feet again. You know, the second year blues, which everyone has. Um, I look at Fogarty. I think with Owies out of the team, we'll be seeing him in the forward line for the majority of the time. And I think with Elijah Hollins, like you said, I think he'll either have that 50, 40 around that split and going through there. But yeah, it's exciting because I think we will have a kind of a not a new looking forward line, but without Owies, you bring in a Silvani. What do you do with Fogarty? What do you do with Elijah Hollins? And you don't even talk about a Moya or a Motlop as well. So it's a matter of how many people do we want rolling through that midfield, and how many guys you want to just you stick in that forward 50 and you play a role. But time will tell. And for me, I think the first look at it is probably preseason and how it kind of functions. And sometimes you really don't know until the middle of the year, do you? And I'm sure the coaches just keep evolving and evolving and evolving. You never have the perfect mix. People might say you have the perfect mix, but you just never do, whether you're a premiership team or the bottom team.
Yeah, no, completely right. But I've just got one more question. So,
Yeah.
Jagger heading into season 2025, in your opinion, do you reckon he's an inside mid, outside mid, wing, half forward? Round one next year, where do you think Jagger will be lining up in his team?
I think he'll be the midfield. I think he'll
Inside?
be Yeah, just a bit of both. He's got
Yeah,
that pace where he can be outside. So I think he's a bit Walshy type, isn't he? I think he's just a little bit quicker.
yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna be very very good to see. Like you said, hopefully Walshy, fingers crossed, he gets a damn pre-season because if we can get all these guys rolling, it's gonna be pretty hard to stop. And you don't even talk about TDK, who's he's just TDK, isn't he, Pato?
Yeah. TDK, so TDK tapped out at Jagger there. Jagger headed
Oh,
over to Walshy, and then Ripper
oh,
leading into open goal.
yeah, yep.
But I guess we'll now move on to the next player that we picked up, and it's Harry
Yep.
O'Farrell, pick
Mm,
40. Um, and I'm just having a look at the details here, Dave. 3rd of May,
yeah,
2006.
yeah,
I'm 2001. You're 2002?
yep.
2006.
It's making me feel old, Pato.
Yeah, yeah. And like, I'm just looking at that. I'm like, fuck,
Mm.
2006, mate. We're we're good. We're getting on in age, but I guess you're. I mean, I'm just having a look at the details as well. And key defender, I think that's exactly what we needed. I know that we're in the mix to potentially get Granger Barras from Hawthorn as a delisted free agent. I think it is, but if, with this, I think that's exactly heading into this draft. I know that we were speaking about their pick three, and we needed that classy midfielder in there, and I think we got it. But the other thing on my radar was a key defender, a young key defender who doesn't play for 2 or 3 years, or maybe he forces someone out, like a Nick Haynes, to play.
Yeah,
So I don't think it will happen whatsoever. But it's great to have guys like Jacob Winery and Nick Haynes to develop O'Farrell for the next
yeah.
few years and pick 40. I think this is almost a steal
Mm.
because I know that, like, I know that a trainer is probably one of the best key defenders in the draft, but this guy isn't far behind. So
Mm.
I think O'Farrell's a really good get. And obviously it's another Harry in the club. I know that St Kilda
Yes.
are very much they are trying to get as many Jacks into the club. It now seems like Carlton are getting as many Harrys into the club. But
Yep.
your thoughts on Harry O'Farrell, mate? I know I'm very excited, and it's exactly what I wanted. This is the guy that I was looking at. But
Yep.
your opinion on this player, I think it's a great get.
Yeah, and I think the difference with O'Farrell compared to Trainer's not 197.
No,
Well, I think it's hard to find those guys who are that extra tall defender, can intercept, but also play on the tallest forward or the best forward. So he had an injury riddled year. I think he's the best key back in the well, if Trainer and him, I feel like they're different. I feel like Trainer's more that next year
hang
he'll
on.
come into Richmond, he'll play round one,
Yeah,
but he'll play as that third, fourth, fifth kind of defender. But with O'Farrell, I feel like he's that project player. And there's a lot of comparisons to him with Sam Taylor from the Giants. And I've watched a few O'Farrell highlights. He looks the goods.
yeah,
And I did watch a video yesterday that was from 3 months before the draft, and they interviewed all the highest rated players. Who's the best defender in the draft? And Jagger Smith has no affiliation with Harry O'Farrell. Didn't play with him. He only played with him in the Oz representative team, and maybe Vic Metro. And he said he thought about it. He was thinking about it for about probably 30 seconds, and he goes, Harry O'Farrell. He's the best defender in the draft. And it shows you it's not because he has a conflict of interest because they didn't have anything to do with each other. So clearly he's a rated defender. And another cool thing with him is his father was the lawyer that got Cripps off the suspension in 2022. So they have the whole family are full Carlton Uffies. Apparently Harry is full Carlton Nuffy. He loves them to death. Obviously, the whole family does. I think his brother, they were talking about his brother. Apparently, he's like proper diehard. They're all diehard. So it's fantastic that it's another blue bagger. And like you said, it's going to be great with him and Wiedering working together. And he's very light frame, Harry, at the moment. But geez, if he can put on some size over the next few years, and we can use a Haynes for the next couple of years to just fill in that gap.
yeah.
Even the Granger Barras, fill in that gap, and then you got a guy like O'Farrell ready to go in his third or fourth year. But like you said, you just don't know when these guys will debut or when they'll come in. But I feel like with these types of key forwards and key defenders, they take a couple of years.
Hmm. I know that the Carlton social media, I think it was the Carlton social media, and they posted a photo of Harry O'Farrell with, I think it was his brothers, and
Yeah.
it just looks like he's a diehard Carlton supporter. I'm just like, that photo looks a little bit familiar.
Yeah, and they already had all the jumpers.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I think it happened with Luke Trainer as well because he's a Richmond supporter. He pulled out a Richmond jumper that he had in his drawer or whatever. So it's that is just a dream, isn't it? Like, really, getting drafted by the team you support. Getting drafted just as a whole, but getting drafted to the team you support is, and he's a proper fan, not just going for Carlton. He's a proper. But yeah, good on him. And I seriously, I'm really keen to see his development.
Yeah. Do you reckon he debuts next year? I know it's a tough question, but
No.
I'm more, yeah, no, yeah, on the
No,
exact.
let him just flourish in the twos, dominate the twos, and then we reevaluate next year. Well, 2026, we reevaluate and see how he goes. So it's a matter of just when he's ready. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, no, very, very excited. I'm very, very surprised that he went at pick
Mm,
40, actually.
yep.
Because I know that it probably was Trainer or O'Farrell. They were probably the two for mine that I think was the genuine best key defenders in the draft.
Mm,
I know that Trainer is about, I think he's 194 centimeters by memory.
yep.
So he's only a little bit smaller, but as you said, I just think with Trainer, I think he's more of that he can fly at the footy, and I don't think he's at lockdown. I think he's more of that
Mm,
3 to 4 to 5th sort of defender.
yeah.
And I think O'Farrell is more that lockdown defender, which I think is great. Because you've got also Lewis Young down there as well. And last year, I know that we were saying it well, I mean this year in 2024, season 2024, we were saying that we don't have enough depth in that back line. And now we finally have the key defender depth of
Yeah.
Weeders, Haynes, Lewis Young. We've also got O'Farrell, and we could also potentially get Denver Granger Barras,
Yep.
but also Brody Kemp if you really are
Oh,
sold on
yeah.
him being a key defender.
Yeah.
It's so great. And then I don't know if there's any news about Sam Dune. I know that we are interested in potentially re-rooking him, but it's kind of more like
He should be delisted. It's a waste of space. You'd
yeah,
rather bring in McMahon or Granger Barras to fill that spot. I feel like we're not going to get anything out of Durden. What is he, 20, 25? What is he, 20? He'd be 28 or 29.
yeah,
I
yeah.
know this. I know he's a kind of a good insurance type of player, but I'd rather be developing someone like an O'Farrell and playing a guy like Granger Barras, or even playing a Kent more.
Mm. Yeah, well, he's 28, Sam Dune.
Yeah. So as he didn't play much last year. He played one game against North and was injured probably before the game. I remember that whole debacle. But anyway, it's really good, the key back stocks, and we'll continue to add to our stocks as well over
Yeah,
the next few years. It's people think it's just, oh, we got this draft, well, we got next year as well. So I know we gave up a few picks for next year, but we always find a way to trade ourselves back in.
yeah. And I think we had to focus on this draft heading
Yep.
into the next few years. And I know that Tassie's coming in, so it was good
Yeah.
to really focus on this draft. And I think we got probably one of the best midfielders in the draft, but also one of the best key defenders in the draft. So I think
Yep.
they were the two focuses heading out of like this season, heading into this draft. That was the one thing that I was focusing on. And I think the one thing that we needed was the key defender, and we got it
Yep.
well and truly with Harry O'Farrell. So, Duff, let's now move on to pick 43 and pick 52. I'll
Yeah.
combine the two together. And it's Ben and Lucas Camporelli. They have both been drafted to the Carlton Football Club. I mean, obviously, they both um, obviously put their trust in the club and it shows that they wanted to play for the Carlton Football Club. They didn't want to go to any other club. They wanted to be a part of the father son
Yep.
draft. I don't know why it took me so long to bloody say that, but Ben and Lucas Camporelli Duff. So obviously Ben went first at pick 43. He's an inside midfielder, 186 centimeters. Born on the 21st of July 2006, and Lucas Camporelli, outside midfielder, 184 centimeters, 21st of July 2006 as well. So I'm very excited about these two. I don't know if they will play next year. Potentially, they might play in another role to what they might have been brought into the club to play.
Yep.
But I think these guys have something within themselves, and I think it's great to
Mm.
have their family, like to have the club history of the Camporelli
Yep.
name back
Mm.
in the club, and now it's like they can kind of use the love for the club that they've supported for their whole life, and a lot like Harry O'Farrell, they
Mm.
are supporters, like they are Carlton supporters within, so
Yeah.
they can
Yeah.
now actually enter the field and they are well and truly Carlton supporters. So it's great to see these two get drafted. But Daff, your thoughts on Ben and Lucas? I know that I'm very excited. I know that I've said I'm very excited about a lot of players, but Ben and Lucas in particular. What are your thoughts on those two?
No, it's good. Obviously the whole bloodline and the whole story of being Scott's sons, and obviously Scott was a gun footballer, 95 premiership player, so really silky type of player. I think these two kind of have a bit of him in him, like a bit of their dad in themselves, in the way they play. So yeah, in terms of Ben, obviously he's more the inside guy. I've watched a fair bit of highlights the last few days of draftees, whether they're getting drafted from Carlton or not. I just like to get my head around how these guys will look heading into the top level. With Ben, I feel like he's the better player. I feel like he's the better player. He's a ball winner. He's inside. His competitiveness is good. I've heard a few people talk about him and Lucas. Apparently, they're so competitive that at some
Yeah.
points that they've actually just get mad at each other in a game. Like they've seen, apparently people have seen them yell at each other in terms of trying to get the best out of each other. And clearly, they both have a really, really good relationship. I'm sure twins always have that kind of special relationship, obviously identical twins as well. So they couldn't get any closer if they tried. And yeah, and Lucas, obviously the outside, predominantly play on the wing. So it adds to that depth again. And ask the question of Jackson Binns, can he stay in that, kind of pecking order in a sense? And what's good for these guys to develop under guys like that, whether it's under Akers and under guys like that. So it's really promising. And you look at father sons, and I feel like it's just not a risk at all. There's no risk at all with a father son. So if it doesn't happen, you don't give up much in terms of a pick. If they're handy players, then you get them for nothing. So it's exciting.
I'm just having to think now about our list heading into next year. Goal, we're going to be good, like slightly, but
We
you
better
got.
be. We better be.
That's probably a better way to explain it. We fucking better be, but
Yeah.
you got like on the outside. Let me just name some names: Blake Acres,
Yep.
Ollie Holmes,
Yep.
Sam Doherty,
Mm.
Jackson Beards,
Mm.
Matty Cottrell.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Like
He's
that's another player that you
he's
probably
not.
would
No,
like.
he shouldn't be getting a game.
Exactly right.
He shouldn't be getting a game.
It's
Unless
crazy,
he's
isn't it?
find some sort of role where he had that kind of half forward running role last year. But other than that, he shouldn't be getting a game next year. And I've read people say that. And it's the beauty of having a good list, like you said.
Yeah, and then like even yeah, looking that forward line as well. Like, I mean, from a best 22 point of view, one of the names I said was Sam Doherty.
Mm.
What role is he going to play in next year if he's going to play? Like, if
Yeah.
he's going to play, because the back line, I think it's pretty much set that you've got the Jordan Boyds, the Adam Sards, the
Well,
Humans, but even Jordan Boyd is a little
no,
bit.
he shouldn't be guaranteed a game
Oh no, he won't be
at
guaranteed a
all.
game,
No.
but
They'll
um,
find a spot for Doc. He's too good. He's too wise head. We win a lot of games when he does play.
yeah, yeah, well, yeah,
And it could be a half forward role where it's you're not even doing much,
and
but
just
you're
running.
getting
Yep.
20 touches a game and you play he could play that Cottrell role that Cottrell played last year in terms of because he's a good runner. And he can be amongst the midfielders, but he's not playing in the midfield and he can attack the scoreboard or be the numbers in defense. Who knows? He's that type of player, a bit of a utility type, because he's just so good in multiple positions.
Can we just can 2025 just start? I'm already excited. There's just something about it. But Daff, let's now head on to our last pick, and it was obviously the rookie draft, and it's Harry Charlson. I think that's how you pronounce it. That's how I pronounce it, but I know there's some other people that pronounce it a little bit differently. But Daff, a defender, probably that rebound defender like a
Yep.
Jordan Porter and a
Yep.
Lockie Cowan type. I think it's a guy that, yeah, I mean, it is a rookie draft, so there's no real risk. But I think it's a
No.
guy that, a bit like a Cooper Lord from last year, a player
Mm.
that obviously wasn't drafted in the AFL National Draft,
Yep.
and he could be a bit of a an outsider that we've obviously picked, but he could be a player that could really have an impact on the club heading into the next few years. But your thoughts on Harry Charlson? Overall, I mean, obviously pick night in the rookie draft. What's your thoughts on him, and do you think he's a really good addition as our last pick in the rookie draft?
Yeah, I feel like we ticked off our needs in this draft before the rookie draft. So they're clearly looking at the future with a guy like Harry Charlson. And he's going to work under guys like Sard. He's going to work under guys like Newman. So it's a pretty good time to be alive and a club to be at in terms of your development. Not only him, Jagger's development
Yeah.
under the mids of Cripps, Chera, Walsh, and also O'Farrell with the defenders down there. Where just Gov, Wiedering, Haynes, of course, is the experienced guy coming into the club over this off season. But yeah, it's clearly he's rated. He's the captain of I think he was of the Rebels this year, the co-captain of the Greater Western Victorian Rebels. It's a very long name for a football club, but yeah, he's clearly good by foot. We rate those guys, and you look at Jordan Boyd. He was a mid-season guy, and there's a lot of people in this draft in this league that come from the rookie draft and are
Mm.
good footballers. I think people just go, oh yeah, rookie draft. Let's just throw the dart at the board, and if it works, it works. But sometimes with these guys, they work hard for it. He didn't have the straightforward, oh yeah, you're a top 20 pick. He's had to get into this rookie draft, sneak in, And now he's going to be going, let's repay that faith in Vossi, in the team that's backed me in to pick me in this rookie draft.
Mm. I'm having to think. Tom Stewart, was he a rookie draft or was he just really late in the national draft?
He was national draft, yeah, and he was like
Right.
25 or 26.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like even that, like 25 to be picked and a player
yeah.
like that.
Mm. Mm.
And,
Mm.
like I think Alex Chincotta is a future Brownlow medalist, mate, as well. It's
Yeah,
he,
just guys like that.
yeah, yeah,
They don't have it on a platter.
yeah.
Obviously, the rookie draft, Charleston isn't, he's only 19 or whatever, but 18, oh, 19, I think. 18? I think
18.
18. Yeah, Jesus, it's making me feel old, Pato. But yeah, he's 18. And, who knows? He's going to work under those good halfbacks and, ply his trade in the twos.
Yep, I had to test my mathematics there, Deafy boy,
Yeah.
because I'm like 18. Yeah, but
Definitely not my strong suit.
don't take us back to school, mate. Bloody hell. But
No.
26th of June, 2006 was when he was born. So
Yep.
yeah, I'll say it again. 2006, Daff. Fuck, crazy. But obviously that is the last player that we have drafted, and heading into the pre-supplement period. I think that's when a guy like
Yep.
Denver Granger Barras could get picked up, but also McMahon. But there's not really been much conversation now about McMahon, is there?
Or well, they're both training, so they're both going to train with Carlton over the pre-season.
Yeah,
I look at it. I look at it very interesting. I think either of them are good. I feel like McMahon can impact at the level as a half. I think he could fit into the side if he plays some good footy. You know what I mean? So I think there's a spot up for grabs for him. It's just that depends on if we do pick him and how he uses it and how his form is, because obviously Silvani's probably got that third tall spot, but you've always got to have that other guy in the team. Whether it's J Sauce is out of form or he changes position or changes role, or you just need a guy like that. So one of the two will be great. It's a matter of forward or back, forward or back. Who do you look at?
yeah. And I think there will obviously be two spots available when the pre-supplement period does come. But if
Hmm.
there is only one
Hmm.
and you can only pick one player, out of McMahon or Granger Barras or even someone else from an external point of view,
Hmm.
who would you pick?
Well, I
Now,
think based
I know it's a tough question.
I think based on form of 2024, I'd pick McMahon. I think they're both good. I feel like Granger Barrass's form hasn't been that good in the twos.
No.
McMahon has been one of the best goal kickers. So it's like, you just add him and go, here's a 1 year deal. You just, start in the twos, or whether if he starts in the twos or not, start in the twos. And if you play the form you're in, you could get into this team.
Mm.
So that's a good thing. It's either of them are great, but I just feel like it's almost a bit of a plateau situation with Rass, where it's like he's at that stage where he's only 22,
Yeah.
so he's young, but he's at that stage of the plateau. I feel like McMahon is kind of going more of an upward trajectory. So it's take your pick, Pato. Who do you think? I think both are great.
Yeah. I would pick Granger Barras right now
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I'm really excited about how I know that he hasn't been great since he has been drafted, but
no.
he's obviously a former pick six, and I know that draft wasn't particularly great anyway.
Mm.
But I just think, yeah, you're speaking about the trying to give a player like a 1 year contract, just give him a chance. I think I would rather give it to Grady Barras, just
Yeah,
at the point. Because even heading into next year, like the mid-season draft as well, and
you could
McMahon
go.
still hasn't been picked up.
You could go Barras in the preseason, see
Yeah,
how McMahon goes. You can train with the
exactly.
ones, play in the twos, because he might have played in the twos anyway.
Yeah,
You pick him up mid-year. That is a smart idea, Pato.
yeah. So I mean, that's exactly. But also, you're like, oh yeah, we will pick Grady Barras, and then next pick, McMahon's gone.
Yeah,
So it's
exactly.
like, you just don't know. But I'm obviously very excited. I just can't wait for this fucking season to start. Can it just start, please? Can Chris when Christmas comes, it just goes straight like it goes so
Yeah,
quickly. So
yeah.
I just feel like as soon as Christmas comes and that period comes, that's when it would just go very quickly. But I think we're both very optimistic and very excited for season 2025 to start. But make sure I mean, there obviously will be a lot of content coming your way over the summer, so make sure to keep watch for us, Daffy Boy. But before we wrap up this episode, if I can speak English, is there anything else you would like to touch on?
Well, it's the last episode of 2024. I was just thinking then. So it's been, I think I just looked at it, 52 episodes or something this year. So just thanks to everyone for, engaging in our content, whether it's on socials or YouTube or Spotify or any type of platform we are on at the moment. I think we're on every possible platform possible. But yeah, thanks for we've just grown heaps this year, and it's given us a lot of, I guess, satisfaction and enjoyment, and we love talking about the club, whether it's on video or off video, just in person. So we'll enjoy our break, get the mind off Carlton for a month or so, and like you said, once it's Christmas, you start seeing open trainings, and we will be doing some open training content. So keep a lookout for that. And if you do see us in an open training, don't be afraid to say good day, because it's good to see the Baggers Chat community out in full force.
Yeah, no, exactly right. I just had a bit of a a bit of a laugh when you said about the like the on camera and off camera. And I reckon in about 5 years' time, if we are still a thing, hopefully we are still,
Yes.
but um in 5 years' time, if there's like some bonus content and then we our off camera conversations will go to air. Imagine that. That would be so that'll be some sort of conversation stuff. But that very, very funny. But great way to end the episode. Absolutely
Yep.
loved it. But very well said, Daffy Boy. And obviously another great year with you, buddy. Hell.
Yep.
When did we start? 2021. So
Another season.
been a long time. So but yeah, 2025, very, very excited. And there's a lot of big things coming from a Bags Chat point
Yep.
of view as well. So make sure to keep watch. But to every single blue bagger out there, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. But make sure to get around, as Duff said, our podcast platforms, whether it's Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music. There's a few others out there. I need to try and get those down pat because it's pretty disrespectful to to not even mention the other one. So I need to make sure that I get those down pat, Daffy Boy. But also make sure to get on our socials, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter as well. I mean, X obviously as well. So make sure to get around that. But yeah, our last episode for 2025, 2024. Golly gosh, I'm actually rambling about that point. But yeah, we will see you guys in season 2025. Crazy how quickly the year goes. But to you, Daffy Boy, have a very Merry Christmas. I know it's a month away, but have a very Merry Christmas.
Likewise.
Speak to you, obviously, but also Happy New Year if I don't speak to you as well. And also to all our viewers, make sure to have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. But to you, Daffy Boy, and to every single blue bagger out there, up
And the
the
Blue
baggers!
Bags.